Shalom, Yasharala, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give Kal Halal La Yahweh Bahasham Hamashiach Yahweh Shai. That is to say, all praise to Yahweh, in the name, the anointed Yahweh Shai. Yahweh being the name of the Heavenly Father, Yahweh Shai being the name of his Son, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus. Just a quick reading, I suppose, of Sirach chapter 32. It's one of my personal favorite chapters. And we're just gonna go precept upon precept a little bit. Not too much. A lot of it speaks for itself. But just some good counsel, some wisdom, just something to start the day, really. So I'm just going to start from the top. It says, Sirach chapter 32, if thou be made the master of a feast, lift not thyself up. Okay, so if you're holding a party, or just a get-together, maybe it's a reunion. Hey, whose house are we having it at? Well, we're going to have it at your house this year. Okay, you've been made the master of the feast, right? Don't lift up yourself. What is this saying? Don't be so proud and boastful, like, I'm the host. I'm the focus of this party. I'm the center of attention. I'm the guy. Look at this feast I put on. Look at how I spread the table. Right? Look at all these decorations I hung up. I got some choice wine, right? Hey, you see how I cooked that lamb? Don't be boasting. Don't be lifting up yourself, right? And kind of trying to be the centerpiece of the party, right? It says, but be among them as one of the rest. Just be as if you're one of the guests, man. As if you're one of the people who's been invited. Be amongst them. Kind of, socialize. Sit at the table. Don't be choosing the chief places. We read about that. How the Pharisees were proud. They like to choose all the chief places, man. In that context, they were guests, so they could be removed. But, nobody likes a boastful host who's going to just boast of themselves and kind of busybody around the party, man. No one wants that. Nobody enjoys that. But when you're humble and amongst the guests as one of them, people have a much better time. There's not any pressure. There's not any kind of, you're not kind of being a bit weird, a bit freaky. Being the center of attention is kind of doing something for you. No, that would put everybody off. Everyone's going to get a weird vibe. People are happiest when you're just amongst them as one of them, right? They say, take diligent care for them and so sit down. So do your thing. You're the host. You've got to take care. You've got to facilitate. You've got to accommodate. You've got to show some hospitality. And take care of everyone's needs. Oh, you need some more wine? Oh, cool. We got some more wine in the back. Oh, you want that meat cooked a little bit more? Cool, I got you. Right? Obviously, we don't have it raw, but some people do like it more. Cool, that's what I'm saying. Things like that. Take care of people's needs. Oh, you need somewhere to hang your coat? Hey, bathroom's on the left, right? Be the host, man. But once your duties are all done, just sit down amongst everybody and be part of the party, man. It says, and when thou hast done all thy office, take thy place. So when you've done all your jobs, take your place. Sit down, take your seat. It says that thou mayest be merry with them. So you can join in the party and have fun with them, rather than just being the busybody running around, kind of pestering everyone, kind of doing too much, right? It says, and receive a crown for thy well ordering of the feast. Now, is this saying that they're literally going to come and place a crown on your head and, you're the damn king of the feast now? No. It just means you're going to be reverenced and respected, right? People are going to kind of, tell you you're doing a good job. Hey, that was a great party, man. Hey, he puts on the best parties. I really enjoyed this. They're going to give you respect, right? It says, speak thou that art the elder, for it becometh thee. What is it saying? It's saying the elder can share a few words, man, because it becometh them, because that's how do I say? It becometh thee, it's basically like, it's right. You're in a place to do that. You're an elder, right? You've got the kind of experience, wisdom, knowledge, and understanding to say some words, man. But with sound judgment, okay? Say the right things. Stick to the topic. Don't be babbling about other stuff and things that don't need to be spoken about, and don't be speaking about wrongful things. Speak according to sound judgment, not according to I think, I feel. Let's get a precept. We all know the classic. Proverbs chapter 3, verse 5. Trust in Yahweh with all thine heart, and lean not unto thine own understanding. In all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct thy paths. Right? So don't be trusting in your own heart, in your own vain opinion, right? And just going off your own words, right? Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and lean not into your own understanding. Go based off of the sound judgment that he taught you, not off of your own ideas, thoughts, and feelings and philosophies, right? It says, in all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct thy paths. So when you're up there speaking, acknowledge the Most High. That's what your fringes are for, man. That's why we wear fringes. So that in all our ways we acknowledge him. Numbers chapter 15, verse 37. It says, and Yahweh spake unto Moses, saying, speak unto the children of Israel, and bid them, which means command them, that they make them fringes in the borders of their garments throughout their generations, and that they put upon the fringe of the borders a ribbon of blue. And it shall be unto you for a fringe, that ye may look upon it, and remember all the commandments of Yahweh, and do them, and that ye seek not after your own heart. See that? And that ye seek not after your own heart and your own eyes, after which ye used to go a-whoring. So that you don't lean into your own understanding. So that you trust in the Lord with all your heart, right? Because Jeremiah chapter 17, verse 9, we're just bringing out some classics today. The heart is deceitful above all things and desperately wicked. Who can know it? The heart is deceitful. It deceives you, right? The heart tricks you. Some people are overthinkers, and they start making up scenarios. Maybe their friend didn't text them back in a decent time, and they're kind of running through the, have they got into an accident? Have they fallen out with me? Did that thing that I said last week, is that still playing on their mind? You know, I said sorry, they said they forgave me, but did they really forgive me? Your heart starts deceiving you, right? And you might do something stupid. Lo and behold, 10 minutes later, you get a text back, hey, sorry, I was just in the shower. Oh, okay, I was doing too much. My heart was deceiving me, right? And that's a purer form. Not pure, but it can be wicked as hell, man. Your heart can think some wicked stuff. We have to rebuke our hearts, right? Proverbs chapter 24, verse 9, it says, the thought of foolishness is sin, and the scorner is an abomination to men. It said even the thought of foolishness is sin. This is according to wisdom. Because when Yahushua hit the scene, he had to tell men, hey, just because you don't commit adultery doesn't mean that you're not committing adultery. Thinking about it, because it's all about the conscience. You think about committing adultery with that woman, you think you lust after her? Because bear in mind, he said to lust after a woman is committed adultery in his heart already. That's not saying that you can't desire a woman. Lust just means strong desire. It's not always a bad thing. You can desire a woman because that's the first step to courting. You have to first desire her at least. How else are you going to start courting her? How else are you going to know you've got an interest in her? So there's nothing wrong with lust in that sense. It's just lust untamed and lust in the wrong thing. So he's talking about a woman who is married. If you lust after her, you desire her, you've already committed adultery in your heart, because that's where it all starts from. You have to think before you do. So your conscience isn't right. Your heart isn't after God like King David, right? That's why he's speaking according to wisdom. He said the thought of foolishness is sin. That's what that's going into. Even to think about doing something like that is sin. Because it's all about your conscience, right? So that's why the heart, we got to rebuke our hearts every day. Every day we have to rebuke our hearts, man. He says, the heart is deceitful above all things and desperately wicked. Who can know it? I don't know what you're thinking. You don't know what I'm thinking. And men thought they could get away with that because people don't know what I'm thinking. Well, what's the next verse say? Verse 10. I, Yahweh, search the heart. I try the reins, even to give every man according to his ways and according to the fruit of his doings. See that? It's a two-step process. You think you do. You think you do. And the Most High sees that. Before you even do it, he sees the preconception when you thought about it in your heart. Okay? He sees that already. So the thought of foolishness is sin, man. That's why we have to trust in the Lord with all our heart and lean not unto our own understanding. In all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct thy paths. That's what them fringes are for, man. So you can acknowledge him. Maybe I made this example, maybe you had a problem with stealing. You got sticky fingers, right? Your brother comes round, and he kind of, on the way out, he kind of drops £20, and he leaves, and, there's no way he would have known where he lost that £20, You're thinking about just pocketing it. But then you look down at your fringes, you acknowledge the Most High, and now he directs that path. Because you now have a decision to make. You've now come to a point where you need to think, okay, do I do it or do I not? You're convicted by your conscience. Because you looked at your fringes and you thought, oh, I'm not supposed to steal this. Now he's going to direct that path because you're going to choose to follow after him, Lord willing. Any righteous man will. Suddenly now you're calling him, hey, bro, you dropped £20, you need to come back. Right? Because you acknowledged him and he directed your path. He showed you what to do because you chose to acknowledge him. You didn't pretend like he can't see you, right? Let's get back to Sirach 32. Okay, so speak thou that art the elder, for it becometh thee, but with sound judgment, and hinder not music. So don't, you kind of got a bit of music going on. Back in the day, it would have been live music, but nowadays a lot of time we got it on the speakers. Don't be hindering the music. It's not saying you can't step up and make a speech and kind of spit some game, but don't just be rambling on for half an hour just talking and just interrupting the music, man. Because people are cool with you stopping and making a speech. Stop the music for a minute. Hey, turn the music down. Pause the song. 5-10 minutes, you just kind of spit some wisdom. And people are fine with that. They can take a break from the music for 5-10 minutes. But if you're going on for half an hour, now it's 45 minutes, now it's an hour, now you're kind of getting into the hour and 15 minutes territory. People are kind of like, I just want to listen to some music, I'm kind of bored of this now. People are there to enjoy themselves, to be merry. They're not there to listen to you ramble on about something, right? So yeah, you can make a speech, turn the music down, pause a song, but don't hinder the music. Don't just become a nuisance, okay? Pour not out words where there is a musician, and shew not forth wisdom out of time. Right, so there's a time and a place. Maybe the musician needed a break. He needs to go to the bathroom, or he needs to go get some water. Or he's like, we're going to take 5. Suddenly, you keep everyone engaged with some wisdom. You jump up and you kind of start, you kind of start spitting. Musician comes back and it's like, right, cool, that's my time to finish. I'm going to wrap this up, get back on with the music, right? It said, shew not forth wisdom out of time, because there's always a time and a place, man. Ecclesiastes chapter 3. To everything there is a season and a time to every purpose under heaven. There's a time and a place, man. There's a time and a place. The musician's in the middle of a set, and you kind of just jump up. You're a little bit drunk. I don't know what the deal might be. You might just be a proud, foolish man. But you kind of just jump up and hey, stop for a minute. You kind of budge him out of the way of the microphone or whatever, and you kind of just no. There's a season. There's a time and a place. You need to be prudent and wait for the right time. Wait till he steps down to go for a break or to go to the bathroom. Or maybe he needs to get some food. Whatever the case may be, there's a time and a place. There's a season. Okay? It says a time to be born and a time to die. A time to plant and a time to pluck up that which is planted. Everything has a time, man. Everything has a time. We can't do things out of time. Can't do things out of time. You know, if you I don't know, maybe trying to think of an example. You know, fishing, for example. Let's say you're fishing, just because the fish is kind of, moving around the bait, you kind of see the line wobbling a bit. If you start reeling in too soon, you're gonna lose the fish. Okay, and if you wait too long, then the fish is gonna get away. It's all about timing. There's a time and a place. There's a season, right? So it's the same thing with this. There's a time for you to jump up and make your speech. You don't interrupt the musician. Everyone's going to be like, well, I was kind of enjoying that song. He was kind of in his groove, in his bag a little bit. And now the vibe's all off. Even afterwards, when you step down, the musician starts again. People are just a bit like, no, that kind of killed it. It's kind of dead now. People didn't really have a good time. The host efforts were all in vain, right? People are going home and they're arguing because they're in a bad mood. Couples arguing. Okay? People are kind of leaving early. People don't want to come round anymore. People don't want to invite you to places anymore. You kind of affected a lot of people. Okay? You actually sinned. I'm going to do a lesson about this particular law. This is such an understated law. Such an understated law. It needs to be spoken on more. Leviticus chapter 19, verse 14. Thou shalt not curse the deaf, nor put a stumbling block before the blind, but shalt fear thy power. I am Yahweh. Now this is talking in a literal carnal sense. You can't curse a deaf person, right? Because they can't hear you. It's not fair. And you can't place something in the way of a blind man to make him trip up. It's a carnal thing. You can't do that. But it's in Corinthians 9:9. That's it. So the law gets spiritual too, right? 1 Corinthians chapter 9, verse 8. Say I these things as a man, or saith not the law the same also? For it is written in the law of Moses, Thou shalt not muzzle the mouth of the ox that treadeth out the corn. Doth God take care for oxen? Or saith he it altogether for our sakes? For our sakes, no doubt, this is written, that he that ploweth should plow in hope, and that he that thresheth in hope should be partaker of his hope. If we have sown unto you spiritual things, is it a great thing if we shall reap your carnal things? Okay, so what's he saying here? Yes, in the law, you can't physically muzzle an ox while it works. It needs to eat while it works. That's the law, so you physically can't do that. But on the spiritual level, it's talking about us. Paul, for example, is putting in work, showing spiritual things to these people. And the Corinthians didn't want to pay, alms. They didn't have to. But they were kind of making it like it was a big deal that Paul asked for just something. Because it's not, even like today, it's not free. When we go out on the road, okay, it's not free. We have travel costs. We had to pay for the cameras. We had to pay for the tripods, the tables, the books, the microphones, the speakers. These things aren't free. Okay, and it's not a requirement that you pay. We're not Christianity. It's not a requirement that you pay to hear the word. Because Proverbs chapter 23, verse 23 says, buy the truth and sell it not. Also wisdom and instruction and understanding. If we get the truth, if we get wisdom, we get instruction, we get understanding, we can't sell that. Okay? We don't sell that. We give it free. Sirach chapter 24, verse 34. Behold, that I have not labored for myself only, but for all them that seek wisdom. Okay? For all them that seek wisdom. That's what we labored for. Not just for ourselves, but everyone that seeks wisdom. So we don't sell them this truth. Sirach chapter 33 verse 17, consider that I labored not for myself only, but for all them that seek learning. So we didn't just do this for ourselves, man. We did this so that we could teach other people, show them wisdom, but we don't sell it. It's free. Okay? But people get onto people like Sakari, okay, about asking for donations. They're not saying you have to pay to hear the word. They're just saying, if you would kindly please, we'd like some donations. Because it's not free to do this thing. There's platforms to pay for. There's so much stuff to pay for. It's not free. We get up and we go to work and we bust our ass all day, but then we also study and we also take time to make lessons. So it's not a big deal when people ask for carnal things when they're giving you spiritual things. So this is what Paul was saying to the Corinthians, because they were making a big fuss about, that's why he said, if we have sown unto you spiritual things, is it a great thing? He said, is it really a big deal if we ask for your carnal things? Is the same spirits in the earth today? Right, but I went here to show that the law is spiritual too. The scripture says that. Where does it say that? I think Paul also said that. Romans chapter 7:14. For we know that the law is spiritual, but I am carnal, sold under sin. So the law is a spiritual thing, man. The law is spiritual. Okay? So I went here to show that, so that when we come back to Leviticus 19, this is such an understated law. Leviticus chapter 19, verse 14. Thou shalt not curse the deaf, nor put a stumbling block before the blind, but shalt fear thy power, I am Yahweh. So you can't put a stumbling block. You can't cause your neighbor to error. You can't set them up into a trap where they're going to sin. You can't do that. Maybe you know this brother has got a stealing problem and you purposely dropped £20. You left a stumbling block before him. Women today, women walk around with all kinds of skin showing, all kinds of tight clothes, everything on display, and they say, oh, well, men need to control themselves better. Well, yeah, but the thing is, you're tempting them. Okay? Now, I'm not excusing men that take things into their own hands. That's not what I'm saying. But when they say, when we say you need to cover up, you're causing men to lust. They say, no, men need to just stop being pigs. I'm sorry, but we are carnal. We are flesh and blood. These things tempt us. They make us think. It changes our perception as men. Like I say, I'm not excusing men that take things into their own hands. But men, we have to fight those lustful temptations. And you don't help us. You put a stumbling block before us. This law, it gets broken in so much ways. In so much ways. Okay? So much ways that this law gets broken. It's an easy law to break in everything you do. Okay? The previous verse, verse 13, thou shalt not defraud thy neighbor, neither rob him the wages of him that is hired. Neither rob him. The wages of him that is hired shall not abide with thee all night until the morning. So when he earns his wages, you pay him up. Right? But it says, thou shalt not defraud thy neighbor. Okay? You kind of promised him £10 for the job. He kind of does the tip run, comes back. It's cheap. He'll let you use the van, everything. You promise, yeah, I'll give you £10. You agreed on that price, and that's a cheap price. It's just for the example's sake. But he comes back, he's done the tip run, he's done all the labour. Hey, bro, can I get my £10? I got to get back home. I got to go see the family. And you say, okay, here's a £5. It's like, oh, we said 10. Yeah, no, I'm giving you a £5. You just defrauded your neighbour. That's the carnal aspect. But if you look at it through a spiritual lens, let's say Leviticus 19:17. Thou shalt not hate thy brother in thine heart. Thou shalt in any wise rebuke thy neighbour and not suffer sin upon him. You see him going off, just like he says in Ezekiel chapter 3. Chapter 3, verse 8. Not verse 8. Yeah, 17. Son of man, I have made thee a watchman unto the house of Israel. Therefore, hear the words at my mouth, and give them warning from me. When I say unto the wicked, thou shalt surely die, and thou givest him not warning, nor speakest to warn the wicked from his wicked way, to save his life, the same wicked man shall die in his iniquity, but his blood will I require at thine hand. Yet if thou warn the wicked, and he turn not from his wickedness, nor from his wicked way, he shall die in his iniquity, but thou hast delivered thy soul. If you see someone going off and sinning and being wicked, and you don't rebuke them, their blood is on your hands. Okay, if you do rebuke them and they don't turn away, then it's only their fault. You did your bit. You kept the law. Like it says in Leviticus chapter 19, verse 17, you can't allow someone to sin. You see them going off, you see them smoking, you can't, hey, you know that's going to kill you. They don't want to hear it. I know. I used to be a smoker and I didn't want to hear it when people said it to me. But that's not the point. The point is you need to at least warn them, right? Right? Thou shalt not hate thy brother in thine heart. So it's love if you rebuke them. But if you don't rebuke them, you've broken this law too. You defrauded them. Because that they might have turned away from that sin. But you defrauded them the opportunity. Because you didn't go into the scriptures and show them where it's wrong. You saw sister wearing pants. Now, I'm not saying stop everybody in the street. Hey, you shouldn't be wearing trousers. You shouldn't be. Might if you do. But we got to use wisdom and discernment in this thing, right? But you see a woman and you don't tell her, and you don't go into the scriptures and show why she should be shamefaced, you've defrauded her because she might have turned from it. But you've cost her that chance now. These are easy laws to break that people look over. People overlook them so much, and it's such a spiritual thing. So when you're at the damn feast, and you kind of ruin the vibe, and now couples are arguing, and all of this stuff is going on, you've just broken 2 laws right there, multiple laws, more than that. You've defrauded them a good time. You've caused them to sin. You've set a stumbling block. Okay? So don't just be doing things out of time. Everything has a time. A concert of music in a banquet of wine is as a signet of carbuncle set in gold. What is this going into? Music goes with parties. When people are drinking, music goes well. It's like, this is basically saying like a ruby in your, so you got a ring, right? A gold ring. A ruby goes nice with that. Kind of sitting on the top. The same way music goes nice with a banquet of wine. So don't be interrupting the music. As a signet of an emerald set in a work of gold, so is the melody of music with pleasant wine. See that? The way that emeralds sit in a work of gold, it goes well, it looks nice, it complements it, it makes it better. So is the melody of music with pleasant wine. When people are feeling good and merry off some good wine, music goes well. It's soothing. It makes you have an even better time. You could dance. You could sing along to your favorite song. You can bond. You can bond with people over music. You don't even have to speak. You and your woman can get a little bit closer listening to some Marvin Gaye. You don't even have to say any words to each other. You stick on just to keep you satisfied. You're kind of singing with your woman, hitting them high notes. You can bond over that. It can improve a feast. It goes well with a feast. Right? And now here's where my favorite part of the chapter starts. Verse 7. Speak, young man, if there be need of thee. Okay? Speak if there's need. Don't be speaking in vain for no reason. Just to say something, just to get your voice heard, just to put something out there. No. If you have something beneficial to say, speak. But if your words are not gonna mean anything, if they're gonna be vain and pointless, hold your tongue. But if you have something to contribute, then speak. It says, and yet scarcely when thou art twice asked. So be slow to speak, man. Don't be so quick to, hey, they ask you a question and and you're just going off on one. No. Kind of, be not so much cagey, but don't be so quick to just start rambling on. Speak little bits at a time. People need to digest things. Things need to be understood. Not everybody is at where you're at. And you're not at where everybody else is at. There needs to be some kind of mutual understanding. You need to kind of map out the thought, the topic, the conversation. You can't just bring it all out at once. Like how we read the book. We don't just read the chapter and then start speaking on it. No, we read a bit of a verse, we break it down, we read a bit of the verse, we break it down, and we go like that. So that we can Salakia. So that we can meet people where they're at and kind of bring people up to speed. Let them know what's going on. We don't just bring it all out. The same way when you're a young man, you need to do the same thing. Just do little by little. Okay, it says, let thy speech be short, comprehending much in few words. So don't be going on long rant. You can get to the point. You don't have to just go on and on and on, because it can conflate things. It can confuse things. People can miss your point because you're saying too much. You can start to say things maybe that don't go with your point because you're just saying too much, and people are getting bored of hearing it, and they're kind of forgetting the main thing that you said at the beginning because you're trying to explain it too much, and it's just not beneficial. Okay, and you're defrauding people. See that? That's why I say these laws are so they don't go spoken of enough. We don't go into these laws enough. Now, yes, use wisdom. You need to be careful, but don't be over righteous. Don't destroy yourself, right? Now you're kind of bugged out because you don't want to say anything because you're scared that you might defraud someone, and now you're bothering everybody all the time about every single. No, use wisdom. You don't want people to start hating you. You want this truth to look appealing to people, right? Chapter 9, verse 22. To the weak became I as weak, that I might gain the weak. I am made all things to all men, that I might by all means save some. So what's he saying here? He's saying that to the weak, he met them where they're at. Right? He didn't start going on about complicated things. So with the spiritual application, okay, it's not saying become a smoker so you can start gaining smokers. That's not what it's saying. But let's say you kind of know your little thing about football. You see somebody playing football, you might be out teaching, you see somebody with a football walking by, you kind of, hey, Ronaldo or Messi? I choose Messi. Hey, that's cool, we make choices. The Most High chooses people too. And then you can kind of go from there. And you can kind of speak their language, speak their lingo, so that it looks more appealing, you're more engaging. You can't just be boring and basic with it. You kind of got to put some spice on the damn meal before you feed it to them. Right, you kind of, you got a favorite stadium. Hey, the Most High has a favorite river. He's got a favorite bird. God has a favorite people. You are God's favorite people, and you kind of do it like that. Right. So you kind of got to meet people where they're at, and don't just be rambling on and boring people, because you're going to defraud them, man. It says, be as one that knoweth and yet hold up his tongue. Okay? Be as one that knows. You don't have to just say everything you know. The next verse is going to go into this, but I'm going to speak on it because it's relevant here. When I first came into this truth, and first started coming around mighty brothers who knew a lot, I'd been studying before I started keeping commandments, so I had a little bit of knowledge. But I started trying to flex. Oh, I know this breakdown. Oh, I know this, that, and I was just talking. Whereas it says, be as one that knoweth, and yet holdeth his tongue. Just because you know the breakdown, doesn't mean you have to start just going on, right? Just because you know these things doesn't mean you just have to start rambling on about them. Right? Doing the breakdown. Hey, you know this? I know this. No, you can know and hold your tongue. Okay? It says, if thou be among great men, make not thyself equal with them. That's the mistake I made. And a brother had to read me this chapter, and he didn't break it down to me like this, telling me that this is what I was doing. But I think he would lace me up with it. You know what I'm saying? I think he read it so that it would sink in and I would come to realize it myself. Because brothers work on you behind the scenes, man. So I think that's what he was doing. So when I read this chapter and I read this, kind of sank in like, yeah, I don't need to make myself equal with great men. Because if you're not, then you're not. And you're just going to be an annoyance, a nuisance. That's all you're going to be doing, really. Let me get 1 Peter chapter 5, verse 6. It says, humble yourselves, therefore, under the mighty hand of God. Right, so be humble, that he may exalt you in due time, at the right season. Because if you try and exalt yourself and put yourself on that level when you're not there yet, you're only going to do harm, no good. And you're going to be exposed as a fool. Because you're trying to say, I'm the mightiest man in Israel. Yet you can't even break down who your enemy is. You can't break down who your neighbor is. You can't break down salvation. You say you're the mightiest man in Israel, but then someone brings out Colossians. Someone brings out Galatians. Now you're the quietest man in Israel. Right? Now you're quiet because you don't know the breakdown. You need to be exalted in due time when it's right. Because if you go too early, it's not going to work. The Most High will put you in that position when it's time, when it's meet, when it's right, when it's going to work. You don't want to be exposed as a fool. This is Sirach chapter 1, verse 30. It says, exalt not thyself, lest thou fall, and bring dishonor upon thy soul. And so God discovered thy secrets. So because you exalted yourself and I'm the mightiest man in Israel, no, God's going to discover your secrets and cast thee down in the midst of the congregation. He's going to expose you in front of everybody. So you put yourself on high, and now he's going to bring you down to the bottom in front of everybody, looking like a fool. All your dirty laundry out on the line, man. It says, because thou camest not in truth to the fear of the Lord. What does that mean? It means you weren't sincere. You weren't sincere and truthful. You had some ulterior motive, where you just wanted to be known as, you kind of wanted to look good for the ladies. Look like a wise man for the ladies. Or you wanted to flex on brothers. Or you thought it looked cool. You didn't come in sincerity and truth to the fear of the Lord. But thy heart is full of deceit. It says, but thy heart is full of deceit, full of lies, full of trickery, full of ways to look like a righteous man, when really, you're just wicked. Just like the Pharisees, man. They look good on the outside, but they're dead spiritually. Okay? They got the big fringes. They're praying in the marketplace. Oh, I fasted today. I fasted for 3 days. I paid alms all week. I got these huge fringes. I'm not like these damn publicans. I'm a righteous man. Thank you, God. In the middle of the street. Right? They like to be called master. You can't be doing that. You need to humble yourselves and be exalted in due time. Let's get back to chapter 32. Okay, it says, if thou be among great men, make not thyself equal with them. And when ancient men are in place, use not many words. So don't be just using lots of words, just like it says in verse 7, in verse 8, Let thy speech be short, comprehending much in few words. Don't use many words, right? Verse 10, before the thunder goeth lightning, and before a shamefaced man shall go favor. What's it saying? It's saying that your reputation precedes you. Before the thunder goes lightning. You see lightning, you know there's going to be some thunder, right? So your shamefacedness and your humility, it brings favor. But if you're loud, boisterous, proud, and you're just that nuisance of a man that's just always just so boastful and too cocky, and people, you're not going to have a good reputation. Okay, people aren't going to have favor for you. They're going to think you're annoying. They're not going to pity you when things go wrong. Yeah, oh, he's a nice man. He's so humble. You know, I hate to see him going through it like this. You know, I'm going to do my all to help him. That's the sort of spirit that people will move in if you're shamefaced. Because your reputation goes before you. The same way that lightning goes before thunder. I remember in school, I was one of the worst. I was a bad kid in school. Okay, one of the worst. So because I gave myself this horrible reputation, you know, as a damn violent, rude, disobedient, I gave myself these reputations. It got to a time where things were looking bad for me. I didn't want to get kicked out of school. I was on that thin line so much. So it got to the point where I started to try and, you know, I didn't like behaving myself in school. I didn't like authority and everything, but it got to a point where I was trying to behave because I didn't want to get thrown out. So what did I do? I started being quiet. But then because my reputation went before me, hey, let's say something happened in the back of the class near where I was sitting. Someone threw something. Someone shouted a noise to annoy the teacher while they're not looking. Suddenly the teacher's like looking at me, sending me out the room. It happened. This is a true story. I'm not making an example here. Well, I'm making an example of my experience. These are true stories. This happened to me. I used to get sent to detentions, head teacher's office, stand out in the corridor, all these things that were just annoying to me, especially when I'm trying not to get kicked out of school. All these things that were just like inconvenient and annoying and frustrating and just really, you know, I nearly said a word there, but just really getting to me, really just doing my head in. All these things, and I didn't do anything. That's the thing that annoyed me the most. I didn't do anything. But my reputation went before me. So they assumed it was me. It's the same thing. Your reputation is important. Your reputation is very important. It goes before you the same way that lightning goes before thunder. Okay? Let's say you were a thief. And you're reputed as a thief. You got sticky fingers and it's known. Now suddenly at the feast, something comes up missing. It might just be lost. Someone else might have stolen it. Anything could have happened, but because you have this big reputation as a thief, even though you're on the straight and narrow now, people are going to assume it's you. They're going to start interrogating you, searching your pocket, looking through your coat, because your reputation goes before you, right? It says, rise up betimes and be not the last, but get thee home without delay. So don't be sticking around when the party's kind of over and you kind of maybe you're drunk, you're just kind of lingering, like, oh no, turn the music back on. Hey, where's everyone going? You're kind of just being annoying, refusing to leave. Maybe you were sleeping on the sofa and the host is like, hey, look, man, it's time to go now. Party's over. And you're just kind of sticking around. You're like, nah, give me 5 minutes. No, that's annoying. People don't like that. People don't want that. You'll ruin the party right at the end. You'll ruin the host's night. Maybe the host was feeling good, ready to go to bed and have a good night's sleep because they've done their bit and it was a good do. But now you're ruining it with your behavior because you're refusing to leave. Okay, be not the last to go, but get thee home without delay. Don't mess around. Don't stick around in the streets. Don't hang around at the doorstep. Don't be trying to find the next bar or anything. Just go home. Don't take it too far. It says, there take thy pastime and do what thou wilt. So do the thing that you enjoy to do. Maybe you get home and you like to just listen to some music. Maybe you get home, you like to have a shower, maybe watch a movie, eat some food, something like that. Go home and do your thing, but sin not by proud speech, right? Sin not by proud. Don't be just speaking proudly and once again just going into being boastful, right? Kind of being boastful, like, hey, I throw better parties than this. I've been to better parties than this. I make food better. I make better food than this. Hey, my party's going a lot later than this. Okay, we kind of go into the early hours, right? That's what I do. No, don't be sinning by proud speech. And for these things, bless him that made thee, and have replenished thee with his good things. So because you've had a good time and enjoyed yourself, praise the Most High, because he's allowed for a good time. Okay, so bless him that made thee, because he's allowed for this to take place. Say, thank you, Most High, I've had a great time tonight. Whoso feareth the Lord will receive his discipline, and they that seek him early shall find favor. So we know what this is going into, man. If you keep if you fear the Lord, you've got to keep the law. It says receive his discipline. What is that? His discipline. Discipline goes into self-control. You're getting tempted to steal. You're getting tempted to commit adultery. You're maybe annoyed and you're getting tempted to kill your brother. But you're disciplined because you fear the Lord. You acknowledge him in all your ways, and he directs your path. It says, and they that seek him early shall find favor. You need to seek him early. Don't be going into him when it's too late. Oh, Most High, if you get me out of this one, I said when I was younger, and this was some foolishness, of course. We was on a plane coming home from somewhere. And I hate flying. I hate planes. I always have. I just hate flying. I don't like the lack of control. If that plane, I know I trust in the Most High these days, but this is before I even believed in the Bible. When I was little, I used to hate flying. I just didn't like the fact that if that plane breaks down, there's nothing you can do. Nothing. You just gotta wait till it hits something, and you know the rest. Your chances are slim, and I didn't like that. I didn't like that there was no control. I hated it. So when turbulence hit, and when it hit bad, I used to get so scared, and there was bad turbulence on this plane. You know what I did? I prayed. And I said, God, if you get this bird on the ground, I promise I'll go to church on Sunday. I promise I'll go to church on Sunday. If you just get this bird on the ground. Plane lands, everything was fine, everything cool. I didn't go to church that Sunday. Or the next Sunday, or the next. It was a straight up lie. Right, it was a straight up lie. I didn't seek him early, is the point. Now, if I get on a plane, I already trust him. I already try to do the things that please him anyway. I'm seeking him early, so I find favor. Maybe the plane does crash. Someone on there had to get some judgment. But he favored me and saved me. I survived, barely scathed, miraculously, because I was seeking him early. Not when it's crunch time. Not when I'm in the midst of it. Oh God, get me out of this one. Please get me out of this one. I promise I'll change. No, you're not going to find favor that way. Someone called it deathbed repentance, man. We can't be doing that. It says, he that seeketh the law shall be filled therewith. Okay? You that seek the law, you'll be filled with it. You'll be filled with sound judgment. You'll be filled with righteousness, righteous dealings, right? But the hypocrite will be offended thereat. What's it saying? These people that don't come with truth and sincerity. Now, when it says offended, it's not talking about getting upset and in your feelings about something the way that we do now. It means you're going to stumble. There's going to be an offense. Something contrary to you. Okay, so the hypocrite, the person who doesn't come in truth and sincerity to the fear of the Lord, he's going to get an offense. Something is going to go wrong for him. Okay? He's going to stumble. He's going to fall. He's going to be cast down in the midst of the congregation. Okay? If you're double-minded about this. But it says, he that seeketh the law shall be filled therewith. They that fear the Lord shall find judgment, and shall kindle justice as light. as a light, Salakia. Light is a guide. Okay? $33, I think, right? No. Salakia, give me one moment. Here we are, 23. I thought it was 33. Proverbs chapter 6, verse 23. For the commandment is a lamp, and the law is light, and reproofs of instruction are the way of life. So what does the light do? It gives you sight. It allows you to see things that you can't see in the dark. It can guide your steps, right? It can guide your steps. You can see where you're going. You're not bumping into things. You're not tripping up. You're not stumbling. You can see everything in plain sight. You can identify things. Nothing can be hidden from you, because he that seeketh the law shall be filled therewith. Not Salakia. They that fear the Lord shall find judgment. You have sound judgment, and shall kindle justice as a light. Justice shall be your light. The law is a lamp, right? You get Proverbs chapter 4. Okay, verse 17. Salakia, verse 18. But the path of the just is as the shining light that shineth more and more unto the perfect day. The justice is light, is good. It's a good thing. You can see what's going on. Okay? You don't have to be scared. In the nighttime, that's when the demons come out, man. That's when that's usually when bad things take place. In the night, that's when the thieves, the murderers, the rapists, that's when they come out and do their dealings. But with justice, there's light. It says, the way of the wicked is as darkness. They know not at what they stumble. They don't know why they're going wrong. They don't know why things are going wrong for them, why they're making mistakes, why they can't see. Because they're in darkness. You can't see in darkness. You're bumping into things, you're tripping up, you're stumbling over. That's the way of the wicked. But us that keep the law, we have sound judgment, we have light. We can see what's going on. We don't get tripped up, right? This is Psalm chapter 119, verse 165, my favorite psalm. My overall favorite psalm. And it's so simple. Psalm chapter 119, verse 165. Great peace have they which love thy law. We have peace, right? Yes, the way I break this down, yes, we all have problems. Everybody, whether they keep the law or not, it's a part of life. We have problems, right? The difference is, if you keep the law, you're not creating your own problems. There's the standard problems that come with life, those standard problems that everyone gets. But if you break the law, you're creating more problems on top of that for yourself. Okay, the difference is, great peace have they which love thy law. We don't create more problems for ourselves. We create solutions for the problems that are coming anyway. We have peace, right? We know that we trust in the Lord when things go wrong, so we're not stressing. Things do get hard, and people in the truth do get stressed. But for the most part, we can rest and have peace and wait on the Lord and be comfortable in that. Okay? It says, and nothing shall offend them. Now, when you look at that word offend, like I said before, it's not to do with getting upset and in your feelings when someone says something you don't like. It's going into stumbling, means of occasion of stumbling, a stumbling block, stumble, fall, right? Nothing's going to make us trip up. We're not going to fall and go wrong. Nothing shall offend us, right? Okay, it says, a sinful man will not be reproved. You can't correct a sinful man. You can't. You try and tell them about their sin or where they're going wrong, they don't want to hear it. They're too proud and they think they've got this. They've got it in the bag. You can't correct a sinful man. They don't want to hear it. But findeth an excuse according to his will. He finds an excuse to do what he wants to do. He uses his liberty as a cloak of maliciousness. Okay? You can't reprove a sinful man. Proverbs chapter 1 verse 7. The fear of Yahweh is the beginning of knowledge, but fools despise wisdom and instruction. It's foolish to despise being instructed. If you can't be told when you're wrong, if you're always right, nobody's always right. But these people who can't ever be wrong, they're fools. They can't take correction and instruction. They can't humble down and say, yeah, you're right, I was wrong there. They're fools, and you can't reprove them. They won't have it. A man of counsel will be considerate, but a strange and proud man is not daunted with fear, even when of himself he hath done without counsel. So a man of counsel, a man well advised, will be considerate. He'll consider his options. He'll plan different things. Okay? He'll plan out different things. Okay? Just on the fly, I'm gonna open up the GNT. Okay, and I believe this is the chapter I want. No, it's not. Proverbs chapter 4 verse 26 in the Good News Translation. It says, plan carefully what you do, and whatsoever you do will turn out right. Right, let's have a look at the KJV. It says, ponder the path of thy feet, and let all thy ways be established. Okay, so you need to ponder the path. You need to have options. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. You need to be a considerate man. Okay? But a strange and proud man is not daunted with fear. He's not worried about what might go wrong. He's not considering the factors. You know, he thinks he's got this. He thinks everything is straight. He's not considering that this could go wrong and this could backfire. He doesn't have any fail-safes in place. Okay? He doesn't do these things. He does it without counsel. He doesn't get advice. It says, do nothing without advice. And when thou hast once done, repent not. So don't just do stuff thinking you've got this. Ask for advice. Hey, do you think this is the right choice? I've got these two options. What do you think? Let me hear what you've got to say. Consider other people, because you're not always right. You can be wrong too. Just because you're a man of wisdom in this truth doesn't mean you're always right. Ask counsel of the wise men around you. Right? And once you make a decision, don't repent of it. I'm not saying when you've made a bad decision, don't try to fix it or select it, or don't. But own your mistakes, man. Own it. Have some accountability. Okay? It says, go not in a way wherein thou mayest fall, and stumble not among the stones. Don't go in a way where don't take those stupid risks. The scripture talks about don't go with a proud man. Don't with a man who doesn't mind violence. You know, don't put yourself in positions and situations, right? You kind of know you got a problem with lusting, but you go to the bar where there's women half naked in the club. Well, you just went in a way where you're going to fall. Proverbs chapter 4, same chapter. Verse 14. We're just going to jump back a bit. Should we go all the way back? No. For timing, we're going to just start at 10. It says, hear, O my son, and receive my sayings, and the years of thy life shall be many. So if we hearken, we're going to have a long life. It says, I have taught thee in the way of wisdom. I have led thee in right paths. Right? Everything is here for us. We just need to follow it. He's led us in the paths. We just need to walk down them. When thou goest, thy steps shall not be straitened, and when thou runnest, thou shalt not stumble. Okay? We need to walk according to this wisdom if we don't want to fall, if we don't want to offend. Take fast hold of instruction. Let her not go. Keep her, for she is thy life. That's your damn armbands, man. That's your armbands in the swimming pool. Right, that's the thing that's keeping you afloat. is instruction, being told what to do, following the orders of the Most High, following what Christ told you to do. It said, enter not into the path of the wicked, and go not in the way of evil men. Avoid it, pass not by it, turn from it, and pass away. Okay, so don't be going in the path of evil men. Going in a way where you're going to stumble. You know there's nothing good. Right? You know there's nothing good. For they sleep not except they have done mischief, and their sleep is taken away unless they cause some to fall. For they eat the bread of wickedness and drink the wine of violence. But the path of the just is as the shining light that shineth more and more unto the perfect day. The way of the wicked is as darkness, they know not at what they stumble. Right, so don't go in the way with evil men. It said in Sirach, well, read it again, it said, go not in a way wherein thou mayest fall, and stumble not among the stones. Don't go in a way where you know you're going to fall, where you know you're going to do wrong, right? In Matthew chapter 5, verse 48, he said, be ye therefore perfect, even as your Father which is in heaven is perfect. We need to be perfect. Well, what made Job perfect? Job chapter 1, verse 1, there was a man in the land of Uz, whose name was Job, and that man was perfect and upright, and one that feared God and eschewed evil. So what made him perfect? He feared God, and he eschewed evil. To eschew something, to turn aside, depart, to be removed, right? To cause to turn aside, to cause to depart, remove, take away, put away, depose, right? It says here, leave undone, retract, reject, abolish, right? So what made Job perfect? He feared God, and he stayed away from evil. He didn't go in those paths with those wicked men. He didn't go in a way wherein he may fall, right? He always chose to do the right thing. That's what made him perfect. It says, be not confident in a plain way. Be not confident in a plain way, meaning, what does this mean? This means just because it might look like a simple solution or a simple, oh, well, it's simple enough, just do this. Oh, that's a simple decision. That's an easy choice. Don't be so confident in that, because you don't know what lies beyond the next step. You don't know what's coming next. You don't know if that might be the right decision. It might seem like the right decision at the time, but don't be too confident in a plain way. Seek counsel, get advice. Go to the scriptures, read something on the topic. See what the forefathers did, right? Because Romans chapter 15, verse 4 says, for whatsoever things were written aforetime were written for our learning. The things that were written before, it's not even just the fact that they were written. These are real events that real people went through. These things happened for us to learn today. And they were written for us to learn. That we, through patience and comfort of the scriptures, might have hope. We can be patient when times get hard, and comforted and have hope. Because we're patient because we know that the Most High delivers us. We have comfort because we can be comfortable in that. We don't have to stress. And we can have hope. We can hope to be delivered because it happened to the forefathers who were righteous. So why would it not happen to us when we're righteous? Sirach chapter 2, starting at the top, says, my son, if thou come to serve the Lord, prepare thy soul for temptation. Be ready for these things, man. There's going to be temptations come your way. But it says, set thy heart aright and constantly endure. And make not haste in time of trouble. So set your heart right with God, like David was, and constantly endure. Always endure. Because we're going to come back to this, but Matthew chapter 24, verse 14 says, not verse 14. Not verse 14. Shalaki. This is a classic and I've forgotten it. Hold on. 13, Salakia. Matthew chapter 24, verse 13. But he that shall endure unto the end, the same shall be saved. We need to endure through all of this, right? 2 Timothy chapter 2, verse 3. Thou therefore endure hardness as a good soldier of Yahushua HaMashiach. We have to endure hardness. We have to constantly endure. He said, and make not, Sirach chapter 2, verse 2, said, and make not haste in time of trouble. Meaning when things get rough, don't be so quick to tuck your tail and run. Be confident that you can stand firm in the Lord. He said, cleave unto him and depart not away, that thou mayest be increased at thy last end. You'll be better off if you stick around. Now, I'm not saying if gunshots start popping off, stick around. That's not what I'm saying. But I'm saying in hard times, don't be so quick to crumble and fold. Stick to your guns. Trust in the Most High. Right? Whatsoever is brought upon thee, take cheerfully, and be patient when thou art changed to a lower state. Right? For gold is tried in the fire, and acceptable men in the furnace of adversity. We need to take hardness cheerfully, because we know that when we what's that one scripture? Acts chapter 14. Acts chapter 14, verse 22. Confirming the souls of the disciples and exhorting them to continue in the faith, that we must through much tribulation enter into the kingdom of God. So it's not going to be a damn fairy tale, a damn funfair ride. It's not going to be frolicking through fields of daisies, man. No, we have to go through hardships to enter the kingdom. We have to be tried like gold in the fire. Sirach chapter 2, verse 5, for gold is tried in the fire, and acceptable men in the furnace of adversity. Gold is tried in the fire. When you get gold, you don't just find gold and that's it. You need to burn out its impurities, because there's two kind of purifiers, you know. There's water and there's fire. They're both great purifiers. For gold, you need to use fire. You need to burn out the impurities, the zinc, right? The other metals, the silver. You need to burn those things out so you can get pure gold. Same thing with us. We need to go through that fire, that furnace, to come out golden. It builds character. Hardship builds character. You can't just live your life on easy mode all the time. You need to go through things. Okay? Where's the one in Peter? 1 Peter chapter 1, verse 7. Okay. Let's start verse 6. Wherein ye greatly rejoice, though now for a season, if need be, ye are in heaviness through manifold temptations. So just for a season, if need be, if it's necessary, we have to go through these temptations. But we have to greatly rejoice. That the trial of your faith being much more precious than gold, so the trial of our faith is much more precious than even gold that perisheth, gold that's vain really. It says, though it be tried with fire, might be found unto praise and honor and glory at the appearing of Yahushua HaMashiach. See that? We need to be tried in the fire to have that praise and honor and glory. Okay? We have to go through things. You know, it's not an easy ride. Sirach chapter 32, 22, it says, and beware of thine own children. So beware of your own children, man. Keep your eye on them. Okay, we know that Proverbs chapter 22, verse 6, we know that if we train up a child in the way he should go, it says, train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it. We know this. Okay? But you still have to keep an eye on your children. Other people can bewitch them. Right? Beware of your own children. It says, in every good work, trust thy own soul, for this is the keeping of the commandments. Okay? It says, is it in here? Revelation chapter 19, verse 11. Oh, no. No. This is another classic that I need to. If I could spell it right. Oh, it's in 1 John. I thought it was in... Okay. 1 John chapter 3, verse 7. Little children, let no man deceive you. He that doeth righteousness is righteous, even as he is righteous. So if you're keeping these commandments in the faith, don't let anyone deceive you. You are righteous. So it says in Sirach chapter 32, verse 23, it says, in every good work, trust thy own soul. He's not saying lean into your own understanding, but he's saying be confident that in every good work, you are being righteous. For this is the keeping of the commandments. In every good work, right? And be strong in that. Galatians chapter 6, verse 9. And let us not be weary in well-doing. Don't be weary when you're doing good work. For in due season we shall reap if we faint not. Don't be thinking, I'm not getting anything back from this. I'm not seeing any benefits. I'm putting in all this work and I'm not really seeing anything from it. Don't be weary, because in due season you will reap if you faint not. 1 Corinthians chapter 15, verse 58. Therefore, my beloved brethren, be ye steadfast, unmovable. Okay, so don't let anyone knock you off your post. Don't let anyone sweep your legs, man. Be steadfast and unmovable. Don't budge. Always abounding in the work of the Lord. So not just at camp when the camera's on, right? Always abounding in the work of the Lord. You can work 7 days a week. You can work 5 days a week, 12-hour shifts. You can put in overtime for Esau, but you can't do the Lord's work except from on the Sabbath day in front of the camera? No, always abounding in the work of the Lord. For as much as ye know that your labor is not in vain in the Lord. It's not pointless. It doesn't go to waste. You might not see results, but guess what? You have a reward in heaven. So be unmovable, always abounding in the work of the Lord. Get in where you fit in, man. Be on it like you want it and put in as much bricks as you want. As much bricks as you can. Right? Put forth all your strength. Okay? Give it your all. If you can do overtime for Esau, you can do overtime for the Most High. It's just as simple as that, man. Okay? Sirach chapter 32, verse 24. He that believeth in the Lord taketh heed to the commandment, and he that trusteth in him shall fare never the worse. So it says, if you believe in the Lord, if you're one of these people who says, yes, I believe in God, well, you need to take heed to the commandments then, for that to be true. It says, and he that trusteth in him shall fare never the worse. He'll take care of you. He'll look after you if you trust in him. You'll never fare the worse. You might go through things, but guess what? You'll always be better in the end. Job had to go through things to get 10 times. 10 times what he lost. He had to go through something for that. Ezra, in 2 Ezra chapter 5, he had to fast 7 days to get understanding back. He had to fast another 7 days to get secrets revealed and mysteries revealed to him. He had to give something up. He had to go through something. You feel me? So that's what you got to do. If you trust in the Lord, you'll never fare the worse. You might go through things, but you're better off in the end. Okay, and with that, I want to give Kal Halal La Yahweh, Bahasham Hamashiach Yahweh Shai, Shalom Yasharallah.